America's team, your DC Defenders, remain unbeaten, 6-0 at Audi Field. Big game Monday night, 7 p.m. Audi Field, ESPN, the whole deal, 26-37. Your DC Defenders remain unbeaten. The Roughnecks have lost 2 in a row. So for the Roughnecks, as far as passing goes, Brandon Silvers, 10 of 17, 111 yards and an interception. I don't know if he got benched, but he just wasn't playing well. If you remember, we were talking on our podcast with Evan Wilsmore and Mike Mitchell, Anthony Miller, Pat Ruffino a couple of weeks back, talking about Brandon Silvers. Some of these guys are just trying to play for an NFL contract or get NFL looks. So they kind of went now with Cole McDonald. He was 8 of 11 for 194 yards and a touchdown. The offense looked really good under him. They had a big play for 85 yards. McDonald also led them on the ground, 6 carries for 37 yards and a touchdown. Max Borghi, again, a guy that you always want to put in your lineup, 11 carries for 25 yards and 2 touchdowns. And if you were watching the game when Max Borghi scored his touchdown in the north side where the beer sneak is, I was on ESPN. You saw me on television. So, yeah. Deontay Burnett, 4 catches for 122 yards. Of course, it was that 85-yard bomb. He had 6 targets and 1 touchdown. Missing Javante Kirkland hurts this team. Ever since he got hurt, they have not looked the same. Drell Havers, 5 catches for 60 yards on 5 targets, and Cedric Byrd, 4 catches for 37 and 6 targets there. So that's with the offensive side of things for the Houston Roughnecks. For the DC Defenders, America's team, it's kind of what we usually expect, but this time they're passing the ball. Jordan Ta'amu, 19 of 31, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 7.9 average, a 36-yard long one. De'Aaron King, not really used much, but Ta'amu was running the offense. Abram Smith, 19 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown. Raquel Armstead came back after being injured. He had 8 carries for 26 yards. So it was Ta'amu throwing the ball, Abram Smith running the ball. Lucky Jackson is the guy. If you didn't know this, in the DC Defenders offense, 5 catches, 136 yards, and a touchdown on 8 targets. Josh Hammond almost had a couple. I had one that just was right on his fingertips. 5 catches, 65 yards on 8 targets as well. So it's Lucky Jackson, Josh Hammond, Abram Smith, and Jordan Ta'amu is kind of the offense there. Ethan Wolf come back from injury, 3 catches, 21 yards on 3 targets there. Chris Blair had 5 targets, but only 1 catch for 2 yards. Jazz Ferguson, you remember him from the XFL days in 2020. He was in there, got a target there. I'm curious to see how he makes his way into this mix of players, because adding him would be, adds more dynamic to their offense. But DC Defenders are 3-0. And so we hear from the losing coach 2 in a row, Cole McDonald, and Roughnecks head coach Wade Phillips.
All right, it wasn't what we wanted, but I thought our team fought back. Cole came in and obviously did a great job. Had 194 yards passing in the fourth quarter. Set the all-time record for the longest pass in XFL history. So I thought our guys fought back. We had a lot of penalties. They had 8 first downs by penalty. So we've got to clean that up. Defensively, I'm talking about. So it was a hard-fought game. I thought at halftime, we were right in there. We got way behind, but then we fought back.
Coach, did you feel the officiating was fair?
Was what?
Was fair?
Well, when you when you get 8 first downs against you, you worry about it. But I do think they try to do the best job they can do, and I applaud them for that. Sometimes it didn't work out in our favor, and we'll just look at it and see. And that's what we got a head of officials for, to see. They grade those guys just like we grade our guys every week. We didn't do our job and win the game. That's the most important thing. So it's not the officiating.
Okay.
Coach, how do you keep emotions in check or get them back in check during a game when on both sides it seemed like a little bit of composure may have been lost? nuances, some things.
Well, I thought we did that, you know, and that's part of it. I mean, you know, they've already had a big deal already with Seattle, you know, so we went into the game knowing that, you know, that those things could happen, and we didn't want to be a part of it. So I thought we made it through the game that way. You know, there's a lot of talking, but you know, and we had a player kicked out of the game, so you know, I'm not proud of that either.
Coach, two for you. First, is Cole your new QB1?
Well, Cole had an outstanding game. He was ready to play. That's what we've asked him all year, to come in and play. Now he's played throughout the year. It's not like he hadn't played at all. We have, but I thought he did a tremendous job. I don't think you can take anything away from that. You know, we scored time after time after time, and that's the name of the game. And the quarterback certainly a key to that. So I think they did a great job.
And then first for Cole, and then you for second, Coach. How tough is it to play in such of a passionate environment here like Washington, D.C. with these fans?
Is that for me or him?
Both of y'all, like they had Cole first.
I think it's very tough. You know, to have the crowd here, electric, definitely puts emotions very high. And as a team, we feed off of it, and sometimes it gets out of hand, get some penalties thrown. So we got to just be more focused, take that kind of sporadic energy, that kind of pent-up aggression, whether it's a bad call, bad play, and just focus on the next play because we can't control that, you know.
And that for you, Coach.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, they have a good crowd. We have a good home crowd when we play. We're going to play back at home a couple more games, and we'll be excited to play at home. And then hopefully, if we win our division, we play at home. So that's what we want to try to do. That's our goal.
Coach, you had a quarterback switch of your own, but you played a team that is known to switch quarterbacks. How did you guys prepare? And then didn't see that much of a switch. How did you adjust your game plan to not seeing Derek King out there?
Well, they didn't play the other quarterback very much.
Right.
So, you know, most of the time he played on the goal line, but he didn't play on the goal line this week. So I thought we played the running game really well. They threw the ball better against us than I thought they would. So my hat's off to them. They did a good job of passing the ball. They only had 20 yards rushing at the half. We felt like if we got ahead of them, which we did early, they would have a tough time without being able to run the ball. But they did a good job in their passing game.
How much do you guys think you missed Sean Davis?
Well, I mean, I always miss players that are good players, but you know, we'll get him back, and you know, we've got to go to the next game. We lost this one, but we're still in a fight for the division. We're still in first place in our division. We want to keep working towards that goal, which is our first thing is to make the playoffs. The second goal is to win your division, and then the third goal is to win the playoff game at home and then play for the championship.